Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are gonna start off with class 11 English. So basically we have two books in class 11 English. One is Hornbill and the other one is Snapshot. So we are gonna start off with Hornbill today. The first chapter, The Portrait of a Lady, which is written by Khushwant Singh. So before starting the chapter, they have given a few expressions which are used in uh, the whole chapter. So these expressions are already used in this chapter, so let's just go through all these important expressions. Then when we are gonna read the chapter, we are gonna come across all these expressions which they have given in the starting. So let us just discuss the expressions once. The thought was almost revolting. Second, an expanse of pure white serenity. Third, a turning point. Fourth, accepted her seclusion with resignation. Fifth, a veritable bedlam of chirpings. Sixth, frivolous rebukes. And seventh, the sagging skins of a dilapidated drum. So these expressions, they are gonna come when we are gonna read the chapter, so we are gonna come across all of these expressions. So let us begin the chapter now. My grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, was an old lady. She had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years that I had known her. So basically, Khushwant Singh, he has started off by telling us that his grandmother was like everybody else's grandmother, because obviously grandmother is an old woman, because she is the parent of our parent. So basically she was old. He is telling she was old like anybody else's grandmother, and she had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years he had known her. So he's telling that he knew her for 20 years. So basically they are it gives us a hint that his grandmother was alive and was still with him till he was 20 years old. So people said that she had been once young and pretty and had even had a husband, but that was hard to believe. So what people told him was that his grandmother, she had been young, she was pretty, and she also had a husband. But it was kind of hard for Khushwant Singh to believe it, and we're gonna get to know why it was hard for him to believe. My grandfather's portrait hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He wore a big turban and loose fitting clothes. His long, white beard covered the best part of his chest, and he looked at least 100 years old. He did not look the sort of person who would have a wife or children. He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of grandchildren. As for my grandmother being young and pretty, the thought was almost revolting. So basically what all stuff it is mentioned out here, the stuff that is mentioned is that first he told that his grandfather, like, he was not alive, so his portrait, it was hung above the mantelpiece. So basically mantelpiece is nothing but the area where the fireplace is there. So above that fireplace area, the portrait of the grandfather was hung, and the mantelpiece was in the drawing room. And so the appearance, according to the portrait of the grandfather, it is mentioned here that his grandfather wore a big turban, he wore loose fitting clothes, he had a long white beard that covered the best part of his chest. That shows how long the grandfather's beard was. And he told that he looked at least 100 years old, because he was obviously old when the portrait was like in the portrait he looked old, because he was obviously old when the picture was clicked. So because of that, what Kushwant Singh is trying to say is like he looked at least 100 years old, and he did not look like a person who would have a wife or children. It's just a way of him expressing that how old his grandfather used to look when he saw the portrait. So basically he's telling that no, he could not believe he had a wife or children. He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of grandchildren, because he looked very old in the portrait. Okay. As for my grandmother being young and pretty, the thought was almost revolting. So basically, it is kind of hard for Kushwant Singh to accept the fact that his grandmother was young or pretty. So the thought was revolting. That means it was kind of hard for Kushwant Singh to believe that his grandmother was young or pretty when she was younger, right? So she often told us of the games she used to play as a child that seemed quite absurd and undignified on her part, and we treated it like the fables of the prophet she used to tell us. So basically, the starting of the chapter shows that how hard it was for Khushwant Singh to believe that his grandmother was once young. She played games like they played in like he played in his childhood, and she used to play games when she was a child. So thing the thought was quite absurd and undignified, because it was not acceptable for Khushwant Singh that his grandmother also once used to play like a child. So this part where the grandmother told Khushwant Singh that she used to play when she was a child, the game she used to play, so it became very hard for him to believe, and they treated the story that was told by the grandmother, like what all she did when she was younger. So he treated it like the fables of prophets. Basically, it is like the stories of fairies. Like he thought they were just fairy tales that his grandmother used to tell him. He could not believe that his grandmother was young. So basically, this is the whole point of the chapter, the gist of the chapter, which is given in the starting. So she had always been short and fat and slightly bent. So here the appearance of the grandmother is being explained. So what Khushwant Singh has written, the author has written, is that his grandmother, she had always been short, fat, and slightly bent. Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles running from everywhere to everywhere, which explains that the grandmother's face was completely covered with wrinkles. No, we were certain she had always been as we had known her. So he was quite certain that she had always been like he had known her, because it's a kind of perception he had in his mind that the way his grandmother looks right now, like according to the story, when we are talking, when Kushwant Singh used to see his mother, he used to think that she had always been looked like that. She has always looked like that, and she was never young. So it is quite revolting. It's a quite revolting thought for him, and it is quite unacceptable for him that his grandmother was young. So old, so terribly old that she could not have grown older, and had stayed at the same age for 20 years. So basically, he's telling that she could not get any older, and she had always looked the same age for 20 years. She could never have been pretty, but she was always beautiful. This is a very important line where he's trying to tell that she was not pretty, but she was beautiful. What this line means is basically that she was pretty, she was not pretty, means that they are talking about the beauty which is on the outside. So he said that she could have never been pretty. She could have not looked good from the outside, but she was always beautiful, which means that she was always beautiful and she was a good hearted person, which shows the inner beauty of the grandmother. She hobbled about the house in spotless white, with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop, and the other telling the beads of her rosary. So basically, now he tells that about, like, it's the continuation of the appearance of the grandmother. So basically, he tells that she always wore spotless white. The dress she used to wear, or the whatever outfit she used to wear, was spotless white. Her hand used to rest on her waist to balance her stoop. Stoop is what? It is the tendency of the body to bend when someone is older. So like we have seen that old people, the back does not support them so well, so they have to bend. So that is basically what is stoop. And the other telling the beads of a rosary. Rosary is nothing, the jap mala the people have, the old people or anyone has that jap mala where they remember, like they keep on repeating the name of the god. So that is basically what is rosary. Her silver locks were scattered untidily over her pale, puckered face, and her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer. So he tells that her silver locks, basically her hair, they were not completely, it did not look complete white, but it looked like silver. It looked like silver locks, which was scattered untidily over her pale, puckered face, and her lips constantly moving in inaudible prayer. So basically, she used to keep on praying every time, which was not even audible. Like, she used to murmur those prayers in her mouth, because of which the people around her, they could not hear what she was saying. Yes, she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. So this Khushwant Singh, he says that she was beautiful, and because of the white clothing she used to wear, the silver locks she had, he is comparing her with the winter landscape in the mountains, and he says that an expanse of pure white serenity. Pure white serenity, it's like she looked like a, like it was purely white. It was a pure white scenery, breathing peace and contentment. Okay, so my grandmother and I were good friends. My parents left me with her when they went to live in the city, and we were constantly together. So basically, he tells that his grandmother and they were both very good friends, and his parents left him with her, with the grandmother, when they went to live in the city, and were constantly together. So his parents went to the city. They left him with his grandmother. So because of which, his grandmother and the author Khushwant Singh, they were constantly together. So she was the one who took care of him. She used to wake me up in the morning and get me ready for school. She said her morning prayer in a monotonous sing song while she bathed and dressed me, in the hope that I would listen and get to know it by heart. So basically, what is being told here is that she used to wake him up. So the whole routine is being told. So basically, what she used to do is she used to wake him up in the morning. She used to get him ready for school. She used to keep on reciting her morning prayer in a sing song manner. She used to sing those prayers while she bathed and dressed Kushwan Singh for school, in the hope that he would listen and get to know it by heart. So that he would listen the prayer and he will get to know it by heart, he'll learn it by heart. I listened because I loved her voice, but never bothered to learn it. Well, he used to listen the prayer because he loved her voice, because she used to sing the prayer, so it used to feel very good to his ears to hear those prayers. So he used to enjoy listening to the prayer. He loved her voice, but he never bothered to learn it. Then she would fetch my wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk. So before, in the times which were before, they did not have pen and paper, so they used to use a wooden slate, which was like a small blackboard sort of thing, where it had she used to wash it, and she used to plaster it with yellow chalk so that it could be written. Okay, and a tiny earthen ink pot and a red pen. Tie them all in a bundle and hand it to me. So this was all the stuff he used to carry to school to study. After a breakfast of a thick stale chapati with a little butter and sugar spread on it, we went to school. So what he used to have in the breakfast was a thick stale chapati, which was covered with butter and sugar spread on it. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. She used to carry many chapatis for the dogs to feed them. My grandmother always went to school with me because the school was attached to the temple. The priest taught us the alphabet and the morning prayer, while the children sat in rows on either side of the veranda, singing the alphabet or the prayer in a chorus. My grandmother sat inside reading the scriptures. So basically, his school, it was because the grandmother used to go to school with Khushwant Singh, because the school was attached to the temple. So the teacher, the priest, used to teach the children alphabets and the morning prayer. Uh, while the children, they used to sit in rows on either side of the veranda, where they used to sing the alphabet or the prayer in a chorus. And his grandmother, she used to sit inside and she used to read the scriptures which were there inside the temple. When we had both finished, we would walk back together. This time the village dogs would meet us at the temple door. They followed us to our home, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis we threw to them. So after the they both used to finish with like the grandmother used to finish reading her scriptures and Kushwant Singh's school used to finish, so they used to walk back together. They used to go back to home. They used to go back home together, and when they used to go back, the village dogs used to come to the temple door, and they used to follow them with they used to follow them home, and used to fight and used to growl with each other for the chapatis which they used to throw to them to feed them, right? So when my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. That was a turning point in our friendship. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. I used to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the streets, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. So basically what happened was, when the parents they comfortably settled in the city, so they sent back for the grandmother and Kushwant Singh. They sent for them to call them to the city, which was a very turning point, which created a difference in their friendship. Although we shared the same room, although they shared a same room, but his grandmother, she did not accompany him any longer to school like she used to do in the village. So he used to go to an English school. He started going into an English school in a motor bus. They never like they could not go while walking together, and so the things became a little different than they were before. And there were no dogs in the streets where she could feed the dogs like she used to do in the village, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of a city house. So where the city house was there, they had a courtyard where the grandmother started feeding the sparrows. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning: the law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, etc. So basically, what happened was, like, they used to be together, they used to spend so much time together when they were in the village, but now as they shifted to the city, things changed for them. The years rolled by and they started seeing less of each other. And for some time, the grandmother, she continued to wake him up and get him ready for school. And when he came back from school, so the grandmother used to ask that how was everything. Like, every elder in our house, they try to ask us about what happened, what did they teach you. So she kept on asking the grandson Kushwant Singh about what all happened in the school. So he would come back, he would tell her that what the teacher had taught them, and he used to tell her English words and some things about the Western science and learning. Like, he told her about law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, why the world was round, etc. And this made her unhappy because she could not help me with my lessons, because she could not help him with the lessons anymore like she used to when they were in the village house. So it made her unhappy that she could not help him any longer. She did not believe in the things they taught at the English school and was distressed that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. So basically, she was like, she did not believe in the things that were taught in the English school. She thought that they were useless, and this distressed her because it created a sense of distress into her, because there was no teaching about God or the scriptures like it used to be there in the village, right? So one day I announced that we were being given music lessons. She was very disturbed. To her, music had lewd associations. It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars and not meant for gentle folk. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. She rarely talked to me after that. So basically, what happened was, like, later on, one day, Khushwant Singh came back home. He announced that they were being given music lessons, which disturbed the grandmother very much, because according to her, music, it had lewd associations, means that music was not for the good people, the good family people. It was for people who did not belong from good family. It was like a monopoly of harlots and beggars, and it was not meant for gentlefolk. So it was her perception about music. She said nothing. She did not say anything about the music thing to the grandson, but her silence, she kept on being silent about that, which showed that she was unhappy and she disapproved of this thing. And after this thing, she started talking very less with the author. She stopped talking as much as she used to before with her grandson. Okay, so the next part of the story we are gonna cover up in the second video. So till then, take care and bye bye.